Hey, this is Charles Onyat with IGN. I'm playing Path of Exile, which is a loot-driven action RPG in the style of Diablo, made by Grinding Gear Games. It is in open beta right now, so if you would like to play, you can just go get it. It is very free, so you can play basically all of the content that's in the beta right now, and you can pay for things. You can pay for tab upgrades on your inventory if you want to store more stuff. I'm on Merciless difficulty and I've been playing for quite a while. So I've accumulated a whole bunch of skill gems, armors, weapons, and flasks and rings and orbs. I'm sure people, are bigger hoarders than myself and require more room. So you can do that. You can also pay for glowy effects on your character, which I have not done. You can see kind of a more realistic art style here, more in line with Diablo 2 than really Diablo 3 was. Which is appreciated. So what I wanted to show in this video is I've shown a couple of gameplay videos of me running around and killing stuff in this game. How it works is you run into killing fields, you slaughter a bunch of enemies, they drop items, and you equip the ones that work for you. So I have a whole bunch of rare items equipped here, some of which boost armor, some of which boost specific attributes, give me more life, make me more resistant to elements, and in general make me better at dealing damage and surviving longer. I'm sort of built as a tanky type of character with a number of options for life regen. So that is my current build, but a lot of your build does revolve around how you build out your passive skill tree as well, which I've just brought up, which I've been focusing on what I said before here, which is boosting resistances, armor, and giving myself more health so that I can take some more hits. So aside from this, there is items, which are obviously important because they have so many stats on them. And the nice thing about this game is how modifiable the items are. So these are rare items, obviously. If you see one of these drop in the field, you want to pick it up immediately. But even the white items, the crappy ones, can actually be pretty useful. So what I have here, I have a helmet that actually has a base armor rating that's higher than the one I have equipped, and I have some gloves here that has a base armor rating that's higher than the one equipped, although these gloves also have an evasion rating bonus, which this one does not. But I'm still going to see if I can make some decent items here. So unfortunately, I don't have any orbs of alchemy. If you have I have some shards, but I need 17 more of those to make an actual orb. So if you have an orb of alchemy, you can apply that to one of these items that consumes the orb, and that will basically turn a white item directly into a rare item, and it will have only stats, and you won't know what they are until you actually turn it. So if you don't like the stats, there's another orb type that I don't have in my inventory that's called an Orb of Chaos, and if you apply that to a rare item, it will re-roll all of the stats. So again, you don't know necessarily what the outcome is going to be. It could be better, it could be worse, but ideally you wind up rolling something that fits better for how you're trying to play the game. So what I can do here is I can upgrade a normal item to a magic item with what I have. Magic items not particularly useful though, so I'm not going to do that right now. I can also use this Orb of Chance, which upgrades a normal item to a random rarity. So maybe I will actually get a rare out of here. So I'm going to use one of these, and I'm totally wasting these orbs, so I know that. I may not use these. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes, and I figure that's worth burning some of these orbs that I've been saving. So here we go. We'll see what happens to my gauntlets. Okay, so I actually got rare gauntlets out of that. That was actually really nice. Oh my, and it has chaos resistance. I need chaos resistance so badly. Oh man. If you see here, my chaos resistance is currently at minus 15, although I think I'm in... Let me switch over to Merciless Act 1 here. Go over to this town. And it's going to be much worse here because your resistances drop across difficulty settings. And yeah, so my chaos resistance is at minus 55. I need a lot of that. So these gloves actually just became quite valuable with an 18% boost. And looks like, yeah, I'm actually going to use those. So this is a thing. I actually did not waste that at all. This is something that I totally wanted to happen. So one of the other things you need to look for when you're building items not only are the statistics, but also the socket makeup on the item. So when you have an item like this with 5 different slots, you can also take into effect, obviously 5 is good because you can slot 5 gems, and then each active gem that's in here is basically one of your active skills that shows up down here. So this is how you determine what you have available to fight, is by what you can equip on items, and they will level, the gems themselves will level as they're equipped in an item. But if the sockets are linked, then you can modify some of the active skills so they behave differently, in many cases become more effective. So for instance, Sweep here, I have linked to 2 other sockets that I've socketed in support gems, which are reduced mana, so it doesn't cost as much to cast, and also added fire damage, so I do more damage. Ideally, what you want to come up with is a linked 6-slot item. I haven't found many of those, but I believe, yeah, okay, so down here I do have a 6-slot item. Not everything's linked, but you can actually rearrange those links with a certain orb, which I do not have because I used them all trying to turn that one into a 6 link, and it didn't work. So there are plenty of ways to change around an item once you've actually gotten it, and you can see how even picking up a white item like I had before, and by even the application of a single orb, you know, it has now become an effective thing. So another thing I can do is put an Orb of Chance on this guy and see what happens to this Mercenary Cask. Okay, so now I only got a magic item out of that, because remember, this was just, it's a random rarity, so it's not a guaranteed rare. However, 32 strength is pretty good, but maybe I would like another magic property on here. So what I can do is I can come over and take an Orb of Augmentation, and magic items can have 2 magic properties maximum. So I can come over here and use this and apply another magic property. Okay, that one actually has 3 now. So I guess that's possible. So now you can see I have a boosted armor and an increased block and stun recovery for this helmet. It also has a pretty decent socket layout, but let's say I want to switch. I'm not going to use this item right now because my helmet that I have is, well, I don't know. There's also an item that will upgrade magic items to rare items. I just don't have that right now. But if I want to, let's say the colors, or actually, let me use a different. Let me use a different item here. Oh, there's a extra rare one. But okay, so let's go over to the sword. Let's say I wanted to use this sword, but I wanted more red sockets on it because I'm not using green skill gems, so I don't really have any use for these green sockets. So if I wanted to actually get rid of those, I can come over here and use a chromatic orb that will reforge the color of sockets on an item. So let's apply that. Well, that didn't actually work. So now I have a blue in place of where the green and red was, but I'm not actually going to use this sword. But if I were to actually turn this into a vendor at this point, I would get that chromatic orb back. There's a whole trading system here where, because there isn't actually gold in the game, depending on what you sell to vendors, and I'll just show it off here. So if I sell items that have 3 different color sockets that are linked, they will return a chromatic orb, which I'm not going to do right now, but that is another way to get chromatic orbs in addition to drops in the field. So there's a lot of depth to the system, and like there are other combinations that you can put in your offer fields here that will return different types of items. So there's actually quite a bit to the system. I really do like how modifiable the items are, and the fact that, you know, even if you don't get a rare in the field, if you have the right items, you could potentially turn it into something really useful. Because they're random, you know, you could wind up wasting a lot of your valuable items that you've been saving up the whole time. But, I mean, you can also do things like, if you find a really good weapon, you can use these whetstones to improve the quality of it. You can use these armor scraps to improve armor quality, so like I could use one on my gloves here, and now it's quality +1, so I get a slight armor boost. And if I feel like I'm going to be using these for a while here, I could just keep doing this, and I keep getting boosts. Maybe you'd want to hold off on doing these kinds of modifications until you really get high level in the game, and are more sure of the items you want to use. But I'm just doing this stuff for demonstration purposes. You can also modify your flasks a little bit. You can improve their quality. Let's see. Yeah, Glassblower's Bauble will improve the quality of a flask type. So if I went over here and improved this, there you go. I got boosted life and mana recovery from this hybrid flask with a quality bonus. So there's a whole bunch of different stuff you can use, and it's nice because it just makes everything feel much more valuable and makes it feel like you have a lot more control over exactly how you want to equip yourself and approach a battle. So I'll continue playing Path of Exile, and for more coverage on Grinding Gear Games' action RPG, keep checking back with IGN.